G'day everybody, Simon here, Explosive Action, back for part 2 of my black metal update for December 2024. So, we've got 8 records here, let's get into it. So before we get into it, apologies, little bit of a crackly throat here. I'm at the tail end of a cold here, I'm fine, but it's just like left me with this 50 a day smoker voice, which I don't like, but you know, we're talking about black metal, so it doesn't really matter too much. And the first one I'm going to talk about here is the new one from Tyranni, which I was not expecting, but big fan of Tyranni in the first album. This is Drunkt av Livets Secret, Swedish, of course. Sophomore release from, well, this is one of the very many bands that I'll hopefully get his name pronounced right. I've been practicing. Svartadathus, yes. It's one of his many projects. This one, he's sort of going for like a 1993 dark medieval times kind of thing, and sort of that evolution that like Evil, Feast, and Crowlock have gone with. He's in that kind of world here with Tyranni. I also hear some of the riffs on here from like first album Burzum, like when it gets drawn out kind of stuff. For All Tid, you know, first Dimmerborg gear, that kind of thing. So Swedes playing Norwegian is really what I get with Tyranni. Has a very vampiric kind of theme, a bit of a feel going on there, with the opening track especially has some synth all the way through it that's got that vampiric thing. That's why I sort of see that Crowlock comparison. The constant layer of sort of spooky keys throughout the whole thing. So yeah, it's definitely got that that vibe to it. Pretty raw production, not like demo bedroom black metal band raw, but it's a pretty just, you know, straightforward production. Snarled vocals that sound like they're echoing from another room. Definitely not the focus. It's really on the keys and the guitars. It's very mid-paced. It barely breaks a sweat. Very similar to the first album. The second track, I would say on here, which I'm not going to try and read the Germanic font, almost an approach of like black and roll, but in the best possible way. I'm not usually a black and roll kind of guy, but I'd say if you're going to do that in a 1993 style Norwegian, slightly atmospheric but sort of medieval black metal, yeah, you can do a little bit of black and roll in that world without it becoming all later Satyricon stuff. Yeah, it's a head nodder, but it still remains fairly true with a V. Yeah, it's got a nice clean bass guitar line. The third track on this one, then, it also sounds like it fits into Stormblast. So again, that early Norwegian Dimmerborg gear. Side B follows similar path, adding in some sort of spoken word passages. Never getting to breakneck speed, always keeping those synth layers. That really is sort of the foundation for a band like this one. Similar to Evil Feast. It never quite get to like Tartaros level pomposity, but there's a few leads in there that are like, yeah, that is definitely for the keyboards. The guitars, like I said, they are there. They're just not as pronounced. It's a very symphonic beast, this thing. Just lots of layers of atmosphere is what, ultimately you get out of Tyranni here, which is not what you get from the cover. I mean, look at the cover and it like looks like total ablaze in the northern sky, but no, that is not what we're getting here. It's a very atmospheric album. It's not particularly aggressive, and it's not radically different to the 2019 debut, which was Baron af Avogetens Smarter. Swedish, man, I'm doing my best. But anyway, it is a pretty straightforward and easy listen for black metal, and yeah, it's out on New Era, so not a hard one to get. Take a look inside. It does look incredibly authentic. I mean, the whole thing looks like 1993 Norwegian. I mean, got these guys going on, the fonts. I mean, it really is like it's a full package. We get a little poster thing, same, so you can get a bit of Svarti hanging on your walls if you wish. I like the logo. Didn't use the logo on the first album, so yeah, happy that he did it here. It's just a black vinyl, nothing too exciting. Yeah, another really quality project from Svartadathus and yeah, Tyranni. Good stuff. Drunkt av Livets Secret. Good album. The next one I hadn't heard of, but by now I think you've probably all seen this one around. I saw this on Mike Seatown's channel a couple of months ago, and he spoke very, very highly of it, and it intrigued me. So I gave it a listen and went, yes, that is an add to cart moment. And we are talking about Avmakt with Satanic Inversion of. Um, it is exactly, I mean, this could be the shortest review in the world. It is exactly what everyone else has said, and is exactly what it says on the tin. This is pure, unadulterated Dark Throne worship, but a specific era of Dark Throne that doesn't get emulated that much. Um, on the band, they're a two-piece, just like Dark Throne. They're Norwegian, just like Dark Throne. They are on Peaceville, just like Dark Throne. And they play a really fantastic homage to Sardonic Wrath era with from sort of 2004 with a bit of my favorite, A Blaze in the Northern Sky, dotted in there, and a smattering of things like Plague Wielder, Hate Them, but really it's that sardonic wrath style. It's not the usual, like people go Dark Throne worship band, 9,000 sort of raw black metal bands, and they're definitely in the Under a Funeral Moon, Transylvanian Hunger kind of period of Dark Throne. Those albums don't even just enter this atmosphere at all with Avmakt. That's not what's going on here. This is sardonic wrath, absolutely, with some of that more stripped back Ablaze in the Northern Sky for sure. It's got the snappy drums of Ablaze. That's why I really like them. It's got the loose, raw guitar tone of Sardonic. The vocals are kind of mixed from both. It's just very singular, monochromatic riffs, very repetitious, lots of blizzard tremolo, blasting drums, but not like ridiculous speed. Classic Dark Throne breaking into like slower, stompier sections. Like just the big single foot, like Dark Throne was all about that, particularly on the first album. So there's lots of that. Big chords with lots of feedback in them. It's just plug in the guitars and play kind of stuff. Um, Everything you would expect, except that these songs are long, and that's what really gets you a little bit different on here. They're quite lengthy songs. The final track, "Doubt and the Void," on this one, that one's like 9 minutes and 41 seconds. That was super super long. So we've got like 6, 5. There's a 10, 6, 7, and a 9. So like there's 6 tracks. It's not much in the way of quantity of tracks, but like Dark Throne would have doubled this essentially. But yeah, like 2 10-minute tracks on here. It's quite I think that's the standout point where it has all the influences I've talked about, but doubled the track length. Um, it's got a bit of that doom sound on this last track from like Arctic Thunder. That sort of real like traditional doom, but played with a black metal style. That's what sort of comes on that last track. So that was a nice little bit. It's a very cold track, and probably the highlight for me actually. That last one, "Doubt in the Void's probably my favorite track on the album. Um, as for the band, we'll get to the inside in a minute, but they are respected Norwegian musicians. It's Christian Valbo from Obliteration, one of my favorites out of Norway, and Dodskvad. He's on drums, bass, and does some of the vocals. I don't know which ones. And Christopher Brathen, formerly of Black Viper, which was a really cool, well, probably still are. I'm not sure if they're still around. Really cool speed metal band. Did a sort of one and done like 2019. Haven't heard from them in a while. And he was also in Condor, great black thrash band, on guitars and bass and vocals here. So, yeah, they're both doing vocals, but it always sounds like one person doing vocals. So I'm not really sure what the go is there. But anyway, this is really quality stuff. And I said I could have done this a really short review and just said, "Do you like Sardonic Wrath? Yes. Did you want to hear more? Great. Listen to Avmakt." Probably would have got you there, but it is slightly different. Those lengthy songs, the doomy parts chucked in there. It is a mix of multiple eras of Dark Throne. There's nothing outside of that box, but yeah, you kind of get also the best of flavors of the proper black metal Dark Throne. And it's good stuff. And yeah, I recommend it. You're not so much as playing Spot the Riff. Like, it's not a clone band at all. It's their own music, but it's completely in that style. So yeah, good stuff. They don't change too much between the tracks, but does exactly what you're expecting it's going to do. And if you like that, good, because you're going to like this. There you go. Sleeve. Yep, drums, bass, lead guitar by Valbo, guitars, vocals, and bass by Braden. So there you go. Both, well, definitely said vocals when I was looking elsewhere. Ah, there you go. Right. Vocals on Poison Reveal, Towering Oblivion, Doubt the Void by Valbo. Vocals on Ordnance, Sharpening Blades, and Charred by Braden. Honestly, I couldn't tell the difference. Sounded the same the whole way through. But yeah, I guess that is a little bit like some of the earlier Dark Throne, right? When it was going between Fenris and Nocturno. Yeah, I know what they're doing. These guys. They're Black LP, nothing too exciting. Um, had a hype sticker which I've saved, which is very peaceful. Debut album from Norway's Avmakt, featuring members of Aura Noir, live Aura Noir member, Obliteration and Condor. Underground black metal, the way it should be, returns to Coldbon. The quote is from Fenris. All you need to do. I really could have just said that. Fenris likes this. Go and buy it. So that's Avmakt. Satanic inversion of. You want some mid-era Dark Throne worship? Pick this up. The next one I could have shown equally in the death metal update. Hell, I could have shown this in a thrash metal update. It really is across everything. This is the debut full length, finally, from Reversed, a band out of Vancouver, 4-piece black death thrash metal band, made up from members of Spell and Mitochondrion, which is not what I was expecting. But yeah, that's what's you listen to Mitochondrion and then you listen to this. You just don't expect the similarities. But yeah, as for me, I kind of file this into the black metal pile. It just sort of spiritually fits with the black thrash kind of stuff. So that's where I'm putting it. But anyway, the band in 2018 released an EP demo called Widow Recluse, which I bought on cassette when it came out because I thought it was really great. Upgraded it to the vinyl version back in whenever that was, 2020, I think, maybe 2019, 2020. It's got a fantastic cover, if I remember. I'm going to put it here because it's just everything. It's just everything, that cover. I love it. Very amateur, but very awesome. But here we are, 2024. Finally put out their full length, Wildly Possessed, and it lives up to every expectation I had for the band after that demo. It's just spikes and leather, ripping old school Destroyer 666, Niflheim, but like the humor of Nocturnal Breed. Lots of the newer bands like Craven Idol, and always that nod, that head nod in the corner to something like Motorhead, some old Slayer, even more classic heavy metal melodies in here, I think, more so than a lot of the other bands I just mentioned. Maybe like your very latest Destroy 666, they started getting a bit more into the heavy metals kind of thing. Reversed are doing it much better. And yeah, it's just a really solid album. I really love the reverbed, gravelly vocals on here. They're completely legible. That's what's really good about it. Like it's borderline sing along stuff. Just barely. You could almost get there with it. You could definitely chant along with it anyway. And that's good because these are just fun songs. I mean, look at the cover. Look at that. I mentioned Nocturnal Breed. These guys are not being hugely serious. I mean, Mitochondrion, we are serious band, but Reversed, not so much. It feels sort of archaic. It's deeply rooted in that classic evil thrash. And just like classic thrash, it knows when to just slow down the tempo, hit a bit of a groove stomp, throw in a wailing solo, and then some like crowd participation stuff. There's a track called "Hungry Graves." Clearly, That's the crowd participation song. Like you can just see the mosh pit in that one. It's got ethereal female singing in it as well, add an extra layer. It feels a little bit odd for like a crowd track, but it works really well. Flip it over, take a look. There's the guy. I mean, look at him. It looks like a Niflheim photo, or like old Bathory, like a bunch of Quorthons or something right there. It's classic stuff. So good. The track Beneath Evil Eyes, that one's got some really, really solid speed metal riffage in it. Particularly enjoyed that one. The vocals quite spiteful and spat out in that track, but like I did say, like it's not a comedy band, but it's not being super serious. So yes, they're spiteful and snarled vocals, but there's a bit of a wink in the eye, I think, as it's all happening. The bass got a real heavy, jangly sound to it, which is very nice. Honestly, this is actually quite top tier stuff for what you're getting here. It is, you know, I'm definitely one of those people these days when someone says, oh, here's a new band. Oh, what do they play? Black thrash. I'm like, oh, here we go again. A little bit over it in general, just sort of black thrash. And in terms of modern bands, I like Craven Idol and not a great deal more. But then reversed, these guys really get the message right, and stick true to just standard proper heavy metal with all those melodies, and but keeping it evil in that, well, like the motorbike they just sped past. I mean, leathers and spikes and motorbikes. I mean, that's reversed. It's very well constructed, very catchy songs, aggressive and melodic. It's only like 34 minutes or something. Reversed have kind of reversed all subgenre distinctions here and just made an album that can be enjoyed by strict fans of each subgenre. Like if you only like death metal, you're gonna like Reversed. If you like black metal only, I think you're gonna like Reversed. And if you're someone that's into thrash and heavy metal and you can take a little bit extra, you're probably gonna like Reversed. So yeah, it's top quality stuff. It's out on Invictus, so I found it quite easy to obtain. There's the LP, just on black, and here's the final death metal. Look at the guys. I mean, you got look at that moustache. It's amazing. Just brilliant photos and the lyrics. So yeah, this is a quality release. You will see it somewhere in my end of year list for sure. Reversed, Wildly Possessed. Make sure you check this one out. Next up, we have the second album from a band whose name I knew, but I'd never actually heard them, which is a big oversight on my part because this is excellent stuff. This is a band called Marras, Marras. This is End Time Sermon, which is, as I said, their sophomore release. This is quality stuff here. Finnish band, and where a lot of the best sort of modern black metal bands come out of Finland. So it must be because it's so cold. There's something like Canada and particularly like Quebec era has just got so much great stuff coming out of there. Finland in general, it just never stops. It is the cold must make them very angry, and that's why we have Marras here. It is sort of in the tradition of your Behexens and your Horners, the usual suspects, fast and riffy, snarl, raspy vocals. But I think the best direct comparison, will be that Luciferian sound of Malum, also out of Finland, who I've spoken about very highly. I've got all their releases. They're an excellent band. Marras fits really, really close to them, but less directly sort of Luciferian. This has got more like keyboards and chamber organs and ambient world-building passages. There's not like a whole bunch of ambient tracks or anything, but there's a lot of pieces of ambient stuff thrown in here. Plenty of big riff, slower passages as well, like the track. There's the band. Look at them. A whole bunch of them there, looking incredibly evil. The track From the Last Battleground has like this mid-pace double bass through it. Very, very tasty. Chanting background vocals. That track gave me a bit of like a Marduk Serpent Sermon vibe, that era of Marduk. Yeah, but majority of the focus in the band is that icy tremolo, mid to faster pace. Sort of like, definitely I'd say demo era Emperor. Wrath of the Tyrant's getting a bit of a nod here. Also, Countryman Acolyte, who I've spoken about. Yeah, you can see something there with Marras. So, yeah, 6-piece band, as you can see, 2 guitarists, making really good use of that dual guitar. And it's pretty neat. When I was trying to find a word for putting this all together, I actually came up with dramatic. I think this is a very dramatic sounding black metal project here. And it's highly worth your time. And I think, yeah, really that a comparison to Malum. If you're a fan of Malum, I'd say go check out Marras. That's probably where I'd start. Look, I mean, you've got your Burning Church. I love their logo. It's not your usual sort of spiky logo or illegible thing. It's very grandiose, like big ornamental gate or something. Really like their logo. But yeah, More than the logo, I like the music. That's the main thing, right? Very, very good stuff. Here is a nice color version there with a bit of a flame bomb going on there. Band members, some very again ornate looking band photos there in like altars with the candles, and there's some lyrics for you. Yeah, just good stuff. And again on the black vinyl, nothing too exciting. Um, and this is out on a label which I've not really heard of called Spread Evil. Never really heard of them. Spread Evil Productions. Spreadevil.net is the website. Distributed by Militant Underground, whoever they are. Yeah, not heard of either of them, but yeah, Marras, End Time Sermon. What this has done is made me want to go and get their debut album, which came out a couple of years before it. And that's all they've had so far, just 2 albums. So yeah, good stuff here from Marras. Highly recommended. End Time Sermon. You like your Finnish black metal? Check these guys out. Well, I say that Marras only has 2 albums because they've also got a split with an EP. Back in my October Black Metal update, I talked about the latest full length from Aethyrick, Death is Absent, which I thought was very, very strong. Um, Fantastic continuation of their brand of Finnish black metal. Here on this split, Aethyrick with Marras, which is, yeah, this is a quality split here. Um, we'll start with the Aethyrick side. They are far more atmospheric and organic sounding than many of their compatriots. In common with bands like Korgo, what is it? Korgontherus, I think is how you say their name. Rather than your Sargeist kind of bands, they feel quite Norwegian. Aethyrick, probably more so Norwegian than anywhere else on the continent, I'd say. And yeah, this EP was released within just a couple of weeks of their album, Death is Absent. So here they provided 3 new tracks, all roughly 6 minutes each. Um, Once again, mostly mid tempo, lush, loosely strummed black metal, very lush sounding. Great focus on sort of a mournful atmosphere rather than that speed and technicality. Like I mentioned, they're not that kind of Finnish black metal. There's a lot of similarity I found, particularly on 2 of the tracks here, with early Primordial, which I really wasn't expecting, and maybe that's just my ears. But um, sort of think A Journey's End or The Spirit, The Earth of Flame EP. There was definitely some moments where I could see the similarities there. Those rolling double kicks that don't really break a sweat, and that kind of drum pattern that Primordial would do quite a bit. Not quite a D beat, not just a double kick. It's somewhere in the middle, it's like a Primordial sound. Um, Layered guitars, lots of subtle keyboards as well. Latter half of the second track, we'll flip it over here. Astral Ecstasies showcases this sort of layering and that speed very nicely. Though there's that crushing blizzard of black metal is always in here as well. I mean, it is a black metal band. It's not always just going to be sort of the mid-pace scale. They do find moments of just hitting it, going to 11, absolutely smashing it. The ending of the third track, Turning the Wheel of Seasons, that one definitely heightens this, I think. But ultimately, it's an incredibly musical effort from them. I think having that room to move, the room to breathe, really gives them a very musical sound. So, yeah, 3 more great tracks from Aethyrick. It's another band that I've managed to get everything from. I'm enjoying all of it. That album was great. These 3 tracks on the EP here are great as well. And then we have on the other side, we have Marras. There's their logo. They bring 3 tracks, and like End Time Sermon, it's heavily rooted in that classic Finnish sound again. Not trying to be different from their previous work. It's got that early Norwegian sound in it. A little more unpolished, maybe, in the production for this EP. The keys are a bit higher in the mix, a bit more prevalent than on the album, maybe just a little bit. Could just be down the production. The opening track, Wander of Time, brings out some very ethereal, sort of astral space kind of black metal sounds. Spoken words over some sort of spacey synth. It does have the atmosphere a lot in this. Sandwiched between some sort of blasting tremolo and punky D beat, like got a bit of a mixed bag, I think, on some of the tracks here from them. The second track, Between Two Worlds, starts with a bit of a mid-pace stomp. Doesn't last long. Descends into like this Burzum riff, like early stuff, and then it finds that frenetic pace yet again. We're into finished black metal territory, as you'd expect. The third track, I Belong in Darkness, sticks pretty much to the same themes, and just sort of rounds out the whole thing with a nice bit of chamber organ at the end. So, yeah, three tracks each from Aethyrick and Marras, all sort of in that 6 minutes mark each. Each band gets half of the side A and a side B, and yeah, very complementary bands. Their sounds are not immediately similar, but they're very compatible, particularly when you do a split like this. So yeah, one of the best split releases of the year, actually. So highly recommend Aetheric and Marras. If I didn't mention it, the split is actually called A Union of Spectres, and they definitely are a bunch of spectres that have been unioned, right? There's your black, and there is the lyrics and the band. Banzer. The broken statue with no head, as you do. And there's our cover artwork there. So yeah, A Union of Spectres. Nice split release here between Aetherick and Marras. Recommended. Check it out. Going to the States now, specifically Salem, Oregon, with a one-man black metal band who I've been following since their inception. This is Haunt. One man being Pertho is his name, Pethro, I should say. And he's been playing raw black metal since sort of 2016, always having this very true Cavolt, straightforward sound, I guess. Guitars, bass, drums, vocals, all by him. No keyboards. This is straight up black metal. The core of the sound somewhere between a lot of mayhem, sort of demistrous riffs in here, but then like every Judas Iscariot album. That's like the melting pot there of black metal. He knows what he's going for. He's going for that one man US black metal sound, and it all goes back to Judas Iscariot. But he does have his own flavor here. Got very thin, reedy guitar tone, very sharp, a bit sort of ear piercing kind of stuff. Very analog, untriggered drums. I would imagine this is sort of just like treated in the Burzum style of like go in, lay down one track, then go in, lay down the guitar track, and just put it all together. I imagine that's how he's done all this. It's not always blasting. Bass is always rumbling in the background. It's just solid, nice riffs. Very, very. It's approachable, but it's also very true sounding black metal, I guess. There's no better way of saying it. His self-titled debut album from 2017 was solid, but the sophomore album, Grimoires of Undead Power from 2018, that one got a bit of a noise in the underground. Really great cover too of him holding this giant broken gravestone or something. That one, as I said, got a bunch of noise. That's when I think a lot of people were jumping on and checking out the band. But I've heard a lot less people talking about this album, Something Near, his latest one this year. And that's because it's not technically this year. It's actually a 2023 release. That's when the CD came out. Self-released CD came out in July last year. Then for some reason, we've had two LP releases. One label called Pile of Heads. They released one in the US in August of this year, a full year after the CD came out. And then we have this edition here on Demoniac Productions out of Spain, which just came out in November. So, yeah, it's strange sort of release scheduling there, I guess. But now it's this one, the Spanish version, that seems to be showing up at distros, and hopefully that'll get a bit of momentum and people will check out Something Near. I've already shared it over on the brand new Heavy Metallurgy Discord server. Bit of a plug, go check that one out. And got some thumbs up from people who hadn't heard it. So yeah, go do check out Haunt Something Near. In any case, yeah, I'm really happy to have this one. Like I said, I highly recommend it. It's just honest black metal. There's your word. It's honest black metal. It is doing what I guess it was black metal was set out to do back when then the second wave was kicking off. It doesn't really change much from that path, but less Norwegian, more American. 8 tracks, 38 minutes, not overly complex, doesn't need to be, does what it needs to do. Great tremolo riffs, ugly, pained vocals, and the drums and the bass just accompany along very, very nicely. There you go. Haunt. Great logo. Always loved their logo, or his logo. There you go. There's the back, very straightforward. Demoniac Productions. Take a look inside. So, yes, not too sure why we have the multiple LP releases. I mean, different territories, I guess, US and whatever. But yeah, here we are. There's a poster, which is Old Mate himself. Incredibly spooky. And there's the lyrics. Thanks list is very, very. Is it faded or I'm just imagining it? No, it's just a quote down there. Thought I saw something on there. I'm seeing imaginary things. There's the lyrics. There's the logo. It's good stuff. It's just straight up good black metal. So yeah, definitely, if you like the Judas Iscariot kind of material, I think you'd be quite happy to check out Haunt, particularly with something near. Out of his 3 albums, is the best. We will see. It's definitely up there with the second one, Grimoires. So yeah, good point to jump on if you've never heard the band. Haunt, something there, recommended. Going further north now from America, staying in the Americas on the continent, but we're going up to Quebec, up in Canada. We have the sophomore full length here from Gulguhk with Pile Vendu et Trahi. I have no idea. That translates to plundered, sold, and betrayed. This is one of the many side projects from Finian from Ifanak. This is his very maritime themed, very melodic sounding black metal project, and came out in September this year. He's released 1 demo and 1 album under this project already, and I recommend them both highly, particularly that album. But this sophomore has just taken it to the next level. It is really improved. I think the production, the musicality, the songcraft. I think it is all just gone a next level up, which is exactly what you want for a sophomore. It's more refined. I think it's better thought out. It is generally just more accomplished, and it is. I mean, in terms of the riffs and the style of this thing, I'd say it's got like those, almost like candy flavored riffs from Satanic War Masters. What is it? Amoganda album from last year or the year before, and something like Fortress with themes for rebellion. Mix that kind of stuff together with Ifanak's own The Green Enchanted Forest of the Druid Wizard, and you kind of get where Gulguhk are going here. It is not a depressing sounding black metal album. How can anything with this logo? I mean, it's crab claws. How can that be? We are serious, depressive black metal. You can't with crabs. Amazing. It is actually kind of bright sounding. It's very emotional, but it's kind of bright. It's like a deep sea diver that's like looking up to the surface and following the light. See the sun through the water. Yeah, that's sort of Gulguhk. It's got that just sort of, it's almost positivity, hopefulness. Maybe it's hopefulness that's coming through in this. I'd say it's probably more hopefulness, which makes a bit of an uplifting kind of listen to it, which you don't get too much with black metal. Fantastic atmosphere, of course, blending the sharp, intricate riffs with those layers and layers of keyboards. Sometimes I hear like a violin. It's probably a synthetic violin, but I hear in that kind of stuff. So it's not just your keys. It's a bit more, orchestral sometimes being thrown in there. The structures is what I think keeps this very intriguing, very hooky. It's kind of verse chorus, so you get repetition, and you get a nice flavor for it. Makes some very tremendous hooks actually with this thing. The melody just shines right through. These are men at sea sailing through tumultuous waters, but they really hold their resolve firm. And yeah, that's Gulguhk. There's the old Finian there on the back, and a crab. Oh, Jesus, crabs. So good. I love that his logo has got the crab on it. There's our. I love this picture too. I'm not too sure who it's credited from, but I think it kind of says a lot for the music here. But yeah, like your naval soldiers there from 1700s, 1600s or something. Big pirate ship kind of deal. It's a big sail ship. All the lyrics, but they are in French, so no idea. But you get an idea. Um, the Drowning Sailor, 1946. There you go, by S. Robert. So we know what the image is there. Very nice. Drowning Sailor. And as I said, it's all maritime themed. So, yeah, the LP is on black, and it's on His Wounds, who do good stuff. So, yeah, recommended. This is a bit of a sleeper hit, I think, of the year. Not many have noticed this one. His Wound releases do kind of quietly go through to the distros and then just show up. Not one of the bigger names sort of labels that people are like jumping all over, like Go to RX or something. His Wounds releases does a lot of good stuff, but yeah, sometimes you have to know to know. Gulguhk is one of those with Pile vendu et trahi, plundered, sold, and betrayed. Don't betray yourself. I'd say go pick this thing up. It is really, really good. Excellent melodic style black metal. And lastly, the 8th album, and thankfully we're getting there because I think my voice is going to go. Damn, the dregs are this cold, but this is one of my absolute favorite black metal releases of the modern era. Well, at least the album is from that band. We'll talk about this more. Moenen of Xezbeth. This is their demo, Dawn of Morbid Sorcery. But the album, Ancient Spell of Darkness from 2018, was that's like top tier for me. That's like one of the best modern sort of your 2010s onwards black metal. I absolutely love that album. And this demo here is I should have got this a long time ago, but didn't happen. But anyway, I finally got it now. This is like a walk back in time to bands like Baxax like from the before they came back. Ungod, obviously, Zabalba, the original Zabalba, but a hell of a lot of Samaels worship him, their debut. Um, and despite being from Belgium, this band, there's a lot of that Greek influence. It's like demo era rotting Christ, that kind of stuff. Very primitive, simple, ugly, but mesmerizing black metal here. It's got big riffs, big bombastic drums, multiple reverb layered vocals. It's recorded to a Tascam 8 track. It's just oh, so good. And like this may be demo quality, but like this is not bedroom COVID lockdown black metal. Not in the slightest. This is exactly what it needs to sound like. So this is the 2017 demo. The band is a two-piece. I guess it's a side project of Perverted Ceremony. For me, the both bands seem to just appear at the same time, but I think Perverted Ceremony were there first. Yeah, this is the first demo here. Was originally released on a bunch of hand-numbered tapes back in 2017. Finally, in 2023, it got its first vinyl release, which is what I've got here out on MPR, Medieval Prophecy Records. And I should have picked this thing up last year, but I don't know, it just didn't happen. And bad me, because man, this is so good. This really, really, if you don't know Moenen of Xezbeth, pick up anything from them. It's all good. But as I'm holding this demo, this is a good place to start. It's just, I mean, look at the handwritten font there. I mean, this is like Xerox 27 times. This, just the logo. Oh man, so good. They got 4 tracks on here in nearly half an hour, plus a little bit of an intro. And like I say, like the album after it, I absolutely love this thing. It is just as good as the album. It's so utterly stripped back. Demo quality, but not you COVID lockdown Bandcamp black metal stuff. No, it is just demo quality black metal in its proper form. Big crashing cymbals, like it's just everything's just mic'd up into this Tascam and off they went. These two guys, it's so good. Big echoey, like rumbly floor toms, which get used quite a bit. It's nice. The vocals kind of actually reminded me of Killjoy from Necrophagia. Got that snarl to it, which is really nice. And Yeah, importantly, I think for this style, and going back to that, this is like Samael's Worship Hymn. The band never really break into speed. There's no real fast gallops or anything. Like, um, they play slow with mid pace, occasional bursts, but they're never that fast. It's not that kind of stuff. Um, it's got synth on it, and it is so morbid and occult sounding. Um, it's got this slight quiver to it, which is probably just an artifact of it being recorded to Tascam tape, and that's just how it's mastered. So it's got this, like, the note won't hold itself properly, and it works so well. It just is so good. Makes it kind of otherworldly. It just adds to everything. Like if this was like recorded digital and it was on CD or something, you'd lose half the atmosphere for sure. This is one of those ones where analog really matters. It was recorded analog. It's on analog here. Oh yeah, love it. Love the demo. Love the album. This is right on par with the album. If you've got the album, you never had the demo. Yep, pick it up. It's just as good. One of the 4 tracks here, obscured by Lunar Rights, was redone for the album. It's good here too. It was re-recorded then, but yeah, man. Honestly, if this was if this was like a brand new 2024 thing, I'd be like demo of the year, right? Black, barely worth me showing you, and yeah, nothing else in there. That's it. Because this was a demo tape. That's what you get. Moenen of Xezbeth, Dawn of Morbid Sorcery, 2017 demo from a 2023 vinyl pressing. Chef's kiss. Check it out. And that's it. That's the 8 albums I'm showing today. Well, 8 releases. I mean, I think it was a demo and there's a split one in there, but who's counting? 8 records I showed, and all tasty, varied black metal. For my second part, because there's been a lot of black metal the last couple of months, and definitely landing in my inbox and picking up things that I'd missed, like that Moenen of Xezbeth. Highly recommended all 8 of these. Do check them out. As for what's next, I don't have enough new movies in to be able to do a movie update in December, it doesn't look like. So we'll probably be in January for one of those. It's just a bit of a dead month. I do have a few, but I wouldn't say it's update worthy. We will see how January goes for that one. And the next thing you will probably see from me will probably be my end of year 2024 best of metal albums. Not too sure how many I'm going to do. It'll be more than 10, it'll be less than 30, 20, 25, something like that. And yeah, in a few days, I will be, if you wish to get a sneak peek, doing my top 10 of the year over on the Heavy Metallurgy channel. That'll be on the next Friday night stream or 1 p.m. Saturday coming up for Aussies that may be watching. I'll be on there with Melanie. I'll be on there with Marty, Alan. I think Kellen's on there. I think like anyone that contributes to Heavy Metallurgy, there'll be like 10 of us. It's going to be a fun one, and we're going to burst through our top 10s. But as for this channel, make sure you check out my top 20, whatever it is, when I finally get it up there at the end of the year, probably the 31st, something like that. As for this video, hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, check out this thing, check out this thing, listen to black metal. See you next time.